What is going on, everybody? We are back with another reaction video. Thank you so much for joining me today. The support truly means a lot. And to all my new viewers stopping by, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Today, I'll be checking out a highly recommended video. I'm not wasting no time today. Today, I'll be reacting to all 10 provinces in Canada ranked worst to best. Let's jump right into this video, man. This video was highly recommended.
The real question is, why haven't you moved to Canada? Because it's such a big country. I don't know where to go.
That's a good question.
Well, unless you actually are a moose, you probably want to stick with 85% of all Canadians and live within 100 miles of the US border. Because although Canada is the second largest country and full of beautiful, diverse landscapes, a lot of that land gets so cold that you'll end up looking like this guy if you spend 5 seconds outside. I guess it makes sense the Canadian pop sensation The Weeknd can't feel his face. But for the 93% of Canadians who love their home, the excellent education system, high quality of life, and incredible cities more than make up for it. Speaking of which, let's hit 5,000 likes for a video on the 10 best cities in Canada. But before you put on your sweater, other sweater, jacket, second jacket, hat, mittens, 2 pairs of pants, and enough socks to cut after circulation and move here, or if you already live in Canada and are looking for a new home, these are all 10 Canadian provinces ranked from worst to best, based on their economy, safety, cost of living, education, and quality of life. Number 10.
Here we go.
Actually, we're going to start off with a quick honorable mention. The territories. Sure, they aren't provinces and only have a combined population of around 125,000, but if you're looking to rake in the cash, they have a lot of good paying jobs. Northwest Territories is actually home to the highest median household income at 154,000 Canadian dollars, and the Yukon isn't looking too shabby either at 129,000. Not to mention a 5.2% unemployment rate. But wait, 5.2% is so high compared to the US. Actually, Mr. Moose, Canada measures their real unemployment rate, which by the same metrics would have the US unemployment rate at 8.8%. So 5.2 is pretty remarkable. But then again, the cost of living is also much higher here, as everything needs to be shipped long distances and heating bills are through the roof. Truth be told, for most people, no amount of money is enough to live in the cold and desolate territories, where -40 is common and the population centers are thousands of kilometers apart. And if that somehow sounds appealing, keep in mind the crime rates in Nunavut and Northwest Territories are more than 5 times the national average. Actual number 10, Manitoba. Nearly twice as many people move out of Manitoba than in, and who can blame them? It's the second most dangerous province, has the second lowest life expectancy, the worst schools in the nation, and although it's home to the lowest unemployment rate of any province at only—
You're lying. I thought the US had some of the worst schools. You mean to tell me Canada does?
There are also very few good paying jobs, so even with a median home value of just 313 grand, Manitoba still has the 3rd highest poverty rate at 11.5%. And if all that isn't enough of a deterrent, did I mention it's the least happy province, or that it gets frigid cold? In fact, Winnipeg is the coldest major city in North America, with most winter days reaching -30 degrees Celsius with the wind chill. And if you thought the summers would be any better, think again. There are over 110,000 lakes in Manitoba, which means it gets incredibly humid. And you know who loves lakes and humidity? Mosquitoes. Heck, there are so many here that a town literally named itself Mosquito in Ukrainian. Now, honestly, no province in Canada is a bad place to live, and Manitoba still has a really high quality of life. It's just that everything the province has to offer, another province does better. Well, except for polar bears, because Churchill is the polar bear capital of the world. Number 9, Newfoundland and Labrador. The small town lifestyle of Newfoundland and Labrador is ranked as the 4th most satisfying in Canada, despite also being home to very little sunshine and terrible weather. No, like literally, St. John's is routinely ranked as having the worst weather of any Canadian city. But speaking of St. John's, it's likely the most picturesque, charming, and unique city in the country. And it's a good thing the buildings are so bright and colorful, because they'll lift your spirits on even the stormiest day. And if they don't lift your spirits, then George Street definitely will, because it has the highest concentration of bars and pubs of any street in North America.
Oh.
And if that still doesn't lift your spirits, then the people definitely will, as Newfoundlanders might actually be the friendliest Canadians. And if that still doesn't lift your spirits, well, then you probably suffer from seasonal depression, in which case, don't move here. Because from the fog to rain to sheer isolation and 322 centimeters of annual snow, Newfoundland isn't for the faint of heart. But if you don't mind having a vitamin D deficiency and are just looking for a beautiful place to raise a family, Newfoundland and Labrador is the 4th safest province. The schools are great, and while the unemployment rate is the highest in the nation at 12.1%, the median home value is also the 4th lowest at just $315 grand. Number 8. Prince Edward Island. Prince Edward Island may be the smallest province by both population and area, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in potatoes. Yeah, while PEI is just 0.1% of Canada's total landmass, it produces 2.5 billion pounds of spuds annually, or around 25% of the country's total yield. And with only 160,000 full-time residents, humans are certainly outnumbered by the root vegetable. Well, at least until summer rolls around and all the tourists hightail it to the island to indulge in delicious seafood, explore the charming countryside, and dip their toes in the warmest ocean water north of the Carolinas. Speaking of which, fishing, tourism, and agriculture are pretty much the only industries in the province, resulting in the second highest unemployment rate at 10.6% and the second lowest median household income of only $89,000. And since many people...
$89,000 can't get you nothing out here. $89,000 a year in the USA is struggling, guys. That is struggling. $100,000 isn't even considered sustainable in the US anymore. So, is this good? Or is that bad? You would think, hey, making 80Ks a year, okay, that's good. It depends the area. I just hope these people are happier. Although they're making less, maybe they're happier, though. Maybe they're happier. You know, not all money is worth it, especially when you're living in a country that doesn't offer much or offer as much as Canada. Man, 80K a year, you be alright with that.
People from the more expensive big cities have been moving here for the laid-back lifestyle, as they can now work remotely. Home values have shot up by a staggering 33.6% over the past year to $370 grand. This has made PEI unaffordable for many locals, but can you really blame anyone for wanting to live here? I mean, it's the 3rd safest province, offers the highest overall life satisfaction rate, and is home to so many beautiful beaches. Number 7. New Brunswick. Just the quick $48.50 toll ride across the outrageously expensive Confederation Bridge brings us to our next province, which is often the most overlooked. No Funswick. I mean New Brunswick. But while many Canadians...
A $50 toll? I'm making bank. I'm making bank off of that toll.
Think of New Brunswick as the absolute worst, the statistics say otherwise. Sure, there are no vibrant big cities, and the economy is lacking, with the lowest minimum wage and median household income at just $86,500. But have you seen this coastline? Not to mention, the median home value is the lowest in Canada at only $252 grand. So even with the low salaries and high taxes, the poverty rate is still just 9.4%, which is the 3rd lowest of any province. And despite its nickname, there are actually some really cool places in New Funswick.
Okay, so the cost of living out there is just way cheaper. Same for food, I'm guessing. The food is probably cheaper. Healthcare. Your bills are probably cheaper. I mean, hey, I don't know about that heat bill, though. Now that heat bill is nice.
The capital, Fredericton, has a great art scene and tons of greenery. St. John is incredibly picturesque with historic buildings and so much beautiful nearby nature, not to mention the up-and-coming uptown area. And Moncton's got the best jobs, restaurants, and nightlife of the three main cities, as well as the most francophones. Which reminds me, you should probably learn French if you plan on moving here, because it's the only official bilingual province.
Yeah.
Number
Gotta learn
6,
French.
Saskatchewan.
I want to
Sure,
learn it.
Saskatchewan gets really cold, with temperatures often dropping to negative 40 Celsius. But would you rather be warm or rich? Saskatchewanians apparently pick the latter because despite the frigid environment and boring landscape, they have the second highest life satisfaction rate of any province, and I'm guessing that has something to do with them also having the second highest median household income at $102,000, in addition to the second lowest median home value of just $288,000. Or maybe it's because even if it is cold for half the year, Saskatchewan is still the sunniest province. Speaking of which, those clear skies also make it one of the best places to see the northern lights.
That's
But
right.
while Regina and Saskatoon are
You can only catch the northern lights around certain times, though, right? Or certain months. Boy, I gotta go catch those northern lights. I mean, I thought as a kid I had to go up to the North Pole to go see those. You only see them in movies. Just to find out that Canada has them, I found this out last video. Well, not last video. A few videos back. Man, Canada got northern lights a few months out the year. It's not all the time, but still, that's fabulous. You mean to tell me I don't have to go all the way to the North Pole to see those northern lights? Oh, beautiful. Because I wasn't even thinking they was real. I thought it was fake. Like, how we got green lights in the sky? Then I had to do some real research on it, and I'm like, it's something to do with the chemicals in the air, guys. It's a lot of science behind it.
growing economies and a ton to do, the rest of the province is really struggling. Prince Albert, for example, has a poverty rate nearing 25%, which has led it to being one of the most dangerous cities in Canada. And North Battleford's crime rate is 495% above the national average. This has led to Saskatchewan being the most dangerous province, with an overall crime rate 91% above the national average.
Oh
But
my
hey, at least the
gosh.
people are nice when they aren't trying to rob you.
91%? 91% against the national average is crazy.
Number 5, Nova Scotia. The second smallest province by total area might just be the most beautiful. From stunning beaches, forests, lakes, and rivers, to charming villages like Lunenburg, Wolfville, Cheticamp, and Bedeck, to the freaking Cabot Trail in Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia does not waste any space. Basically, if you want to live a quiet life among beautiful scenery, look no further. And if you want to live a less quiet life among beautiful scenery, well, also look no further, because Halifax is one of the best cities in Canada with a diverse and booming economy. And since the market's still undersaturated in most industries, it's also a great place to start a business. Sure, wages still have some catching up to do, as Nova Scotia's median household income is just $90,000. But as the population continues to grow, so should the salaries, and the cost of living still isn't too expensive, with a median home value of just $351,000, which is more than worth it, especially when you consider there's literally no crime and the schools are among the best in the nation. And unlike some Canadian provinces, Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, okay, I gotta stop coughing, people are gonna think I have COVID. Nova Scotia actually has pretty mild weather. Well, by Canadian standards, at least. Number 4, British Columbia. I'm sorry, Nova Scotia, but with places like Vancouver Island, the Okanagan Valley, and Kootenay and Yoho National Parks, British Columbia is by far the most beautiful and diverse province, and it was never even close. But if you thought BC stood for British Columbia, it actually stands for Bring Cash, because boy, are you gonna need it, with a median home value of $891,000, which is actually the highest in the nation. The economy is also incredible, however, with the highest GDP growth of any province and tons of good paying jobs in literally every industry, which has resulted in the third lowest unemployment rate, as well as the fourth highest median household income at $96,000. So the stress of money can't be that bad, considering British Columbia also has the second highest life expectancy at 82.4 years. And who wouldn't want to live as long as possible to savor these views? And if you're not the outdoorsy type, hype, there's still plenty here for you because Vancouver is a gorgeous, bustling, multicultural city, and Victoria is one of the most charming places in the country. Not to mention, they're also home to the most mild climates in Canada. Number 3. Ontario. Whether you want to live in a big city, small city, beach town, or even the countryside, Ontario has it all. Of course, there's Toronto, which manages to be an incredibly safe and clean city despite its massiveness. Not to mention, it's the most multicultural city in the world. But there's also so much...
Drake be lying. Drake be lying. He be over here lying, making it seem like what it isn't. He be lying. Talk about he come from Toronto. Toronto get down like that. Do they get down like that in Toronto? Is Toronto a rough, province? My goodness, because the way Drake speaks about it, you would swear he's tough. One of the toughest people from out of Canada, at least. One of the toughest people out of Canada. Got me thinking Toronto was one of them ones.
Or to Canada's most populated province. From beautiful shorelines across 4 Great Lakes to the Niagara Falls region to Wilmette Canyon and Thousand Islands National Park, the second largest province by total area has no shortage of beautiful scenery, quaint towns, or places to live that hashtag cottagecore life. And if you're only in it for the money, well, Ontario is the economic juggernaut of Canada, accounting for nearly 40% of the national GDP. So you shouldn't have much difficulty finding a good job, as the median household income of $100,300 is the 3rd highest in the nation. And those jobs aren't just in Toronto. In fact, Ottawa actually has even higher salaries, is much cheaper, and while you might think it's boring because government, it's actually a pretty hip city and a wonderful place to raise a family. Speaking of which, if you've got kids, Ontario is the 2nd safest province and has the 2nd best schooling system. Honestly, if it wasn't so expensive with a median home value of $835,000, Ontario probably would have been number 1. Number 2. Alberta. You've likely seen images of Alberta gracing covers of magazines and travel inspo social media alike. But besides the majestic mountains and lakes of Banff and Jasper, Alberta also offers an incredibly high quality of life. Mainly thanks to the oil that abounds in the region, which has helped the province achieve by far the highest median household income at over $113,000, as well as the 4th lowest unemployment rate at just 7%. Yet despite those high paychecks, the cost of living still isn't unreasonable, with a median home value of only $426,000. Yeah, that's less than half the cost of a house in British Columbia. Add in the fact that it's the most tax-friendly province, and it's no wonder the poverty rate is the lowest in the country at just 8.2%. It is a surprise how the public schools are also the best in Canada despite those low taxes, however. But either way, there just isn't much wrong with Alberta. The only things keeping it from number 1 are the crime rate that's 46% above the national average and the province's heavy dependence on oil for the high incomes. Because sure, things are great now, but as oil prices are very cyclical, it's only a matter of time before the economy crashes. Now before we get to number...
Well, let me tell you something. Canada got that water. Canada got what the world needs. So hey, how about eventually Canada start exporting some of that water for some of that oil, to be imported in. Bada bing, bada boom. Now all we need to think about is how can we, what word should I say? Now all we need to think about is how can we get more of that water back into Canada without relying on just the rain. Now that's going to be an issue. I mean,
Number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and let me know what you think the best province in Canada is. But without further ado, number 1, Quebec. I guess it's true that bigger is better and that things do get better with time because Canada's largest and most historic province is also the best. Quebec is by far the safest province, has the 2nd most diversified economy, 2nd lowest unemployment rate, the highest average life expectancy, and 3rd highest life satisfaction rate. And while the median household income of $94,000 is only the 5th highest, the cost of living is also incredibly affordable with a median home cost of just $449,000. land and very cheap rents in Montreal, resulting in the second lowest poverty rate at just 8.7%. And speaking of Montreal, the culture, the food, the history, oh la la, is it beautiful. And there are also many other charming cities and towns, in addition to gorgeous forests, mountains, lakes, and beaches.
I'm a little jealous. You can't get a lot for your money out here. Oh, it depends the state. If you go to like a low tax state like Texas got some really nice houses, man. Some people move to North Carolina. Some people move to Atlanta. Some people move to Florida. It's different places, but a lot of those states got high crime. And you gotta move out there to the countryside if you want them nice houses for them low prices. You can't be close to the central area at all. Like at all. I'm about 15-20 minutes away from the city, and the houses over here, if you want a decent house in America, you need about $500,000 solid. You need about 500-600. Yeah. Not to put up, though. No, whoa. Who got 500-600K just to put up? Unless you're dirty rich. You need to hand me some of that money. But 500-600K total for the house. Put down maybe about 40-50K. Maybe that's a lot. Maybe like 30. You could get a nice size house, maybe 3-4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms for about $500,000-$600,000. But now if you want a connected townhouse, the jointed townhouses, you're talking about $400,000. Now what's the point of that when you could just move to bigger houses 10 minutes away down the street where the houses aren't jointed, where you get more for your money, more backyard space, more living space. You get a basement. You get more bathrooms, more bedrooms. It's better. You get a bigger driveway. So yeah, you could definitely get a lot for your money out here in America, but it really does depend on the state you live in. So since Quebec was number 1 on this list, I need to see how people are living over there, and I need to visit. Drake, you done lied to me. I'm thinking Toronto gonna be one of the worst on this list. Thinking Toronto get down and dirty, like how he be talking about it in them songs. I'm like, listen, man, because I was afraid of Toronto for a minute. Not afraid, but like, what I want to go to Toronto for, man? The way he was speaking about it. I did some real research on it. Yeah, don't nobody got no reason to be scared to go to Toronto, okay? Now, mind you, there's crime everywhere. There's crazy people and crazy things happening everywhere. Very true. But it's not one of those places, though, to be like, ooh, we can't go there. No. Come on now. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today to watch this amazing, fabulous video. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and turn all post notifications on so you don't miss another one of these reaction videos. Please feel free to spam my comment section and use that suggestion link down below in my description if you would like to recommend some more of these amazing videos for me, myself, to react to. And please feel free to share this video and this channel to your friends and family members. And tell them we on the road to 10K. We gonna hit 10K before the summer. I feel it, guys. Like, I feel it. We gonna hit 10K before the summer. You guys have been showing me so much love, and I highly appreciate it. Highly appreciate it. Once again, I will catch you guys in the next reaction video. Stay safe.